Hello, my name is Brian Maxwell, and this is Brian's voice. Well, I'm Brian, and this is my voice, and I am Santa Claus. No, really. I went to the zoo, and a child ran up, and his dad said, sorry, he thinks you're Santy. At which point I said, I might be. And the kid went, oh. And I went, oh. I'd be an amazing Santa Claus. Do you agree? Most definitely. Look, I got the red, I got the beard, I have the jolly demeanour. If only I could have a flying sleigh and an army of elves. That would be amazing. He's not a bad lad. Quite a very nice lad, actually, to want to be. Just finished kind of watching a bit of Miracle on Elm Street. No, Nightmare Before 34th Street. And the movie about Santy. And I think there's not many other people you'd really want to be. I'm working on the body. Kind, friendly, good with kids, great at giving presents. He's such a ho-ho-ho. I would like to see a little bit of diversity in my Saint Nicholas. Those Mr. and Mrs. Claus. You think after all the hundreds and nearly thousands of years we're going into now, you think he'd... No, they stay true. Mrs. Claus still jingling his bells very well, decking his halls. Boughs of holly. I always thought it was bells of holly, and I don't even know what a bell of holly is, but boughs of holly. Fa la 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 la. Just the red. Was he green or blue? And Santy was Bulbasaur. I still like calling him Santy. It's the childlike wonder in me. I like saying Santy. It just feels more personal. I don't like Santa. Come, children, let us go see Santa. Santy. Or, to use my North Dublin parlance, yeah, right, Santo. Get Kringle. We all have our own version of Santa Claus. Much in the same way we have our own version of any major single iconography. Like Jesus. Or John Cena. John Cena retired recently. Famous professional wrestler and man of invisibility. Much like Santa Claus. Great with kids. Charitable. And where Santa is a hoe, Cena is the doctor of thugonomics. Word life. This is Christmas thugonomics. You're naughty. And I'm forcing you to take some coal in your stocking. There's so many comparisons between professional wrestling and Santa Claus. And the word is kayfabe. The keeping alive of what we would otherwise say is not real. But what's really real? Much like Miracle on 34th Street. The idea. The idea of John Cena is more powerful than the reality of Santa Claus. And I've looked at a lot of interviews with John Cena. And the main thing I saw was the disconnection between him as a professional wrestler and him as a man, him as a person. What is he without this singular thing that he has defined himself for 20 plus years? Much like Santa Claus. What does Santa Claus get up to when he's not flying around gift giving? I'd love to see the Santa Claus I want to know more about him. In this era where famed icons are far more accessible to us, I want to know what Santa Claus gets up to. Does he play video games? Does he garden? Is he any good at football? Does he even watch football? Who are his team? You would imagine it would be red. Maybe not. He's from Lapland. Maybe it's a local team. Elf FC. That'll be a small team, though. Everything that I've grown to love about Santa Claus, I liken to any other great person. The idea of that absolute willingness to commit to an idea that you can be as close to the idea of Santa Claus, and you would be a better person for it. Much like if you try to be more like John Cena. It's always happened throughout human history. There is a singular person, a singular focal point, hence the rise of celebrity culture, the change of movies to the star system. It's not about the directors and the writers, it's about the star, the person who you see, who becomes the icon of it all, the singular. And yet, when you have singular, you will have division. I can point to anything behind me as a singular icon, and then there will be detractors of that same iconography. But why we love the things we love and the people we idolise, that I find more interesting. And ultimately, you can find kinship in people through the people they admire, but for why they admire them, I am not going to draw political comparison, but if there was a singular person who, in this current age, drew adulation and fandom in a way in which we've not really seen before, that it's about the icon than it is about the ideals. But the ideals, that we can get on board with. Honest, hard-working, doesn't take any guff, willing to say the hard things, determined, proud, a person of the people. That could be anybody. And yet, you can line up 10 people and you will find flaw in one. Why do we do that? I do that. I do that to myself. Only over the last 3 weeks, I have been working diligently. And I was finding myself upset and dismayed and disavowed because I was not working as well as other people, though I was working to my best standard, of which has improved drastically professionally. That when you focus on your own positivity and your own achievement, that you can isolate yourself as well. It's this balance between looking out and looking in. And that's where we miss the singular. I went to Mass recently. Not for the religious aspect, but for the celebration and the performance of music. So, can you do both? Can you find commonality? Can you find kinship? Can you find, look what's at the time of recording, it's nearly Christmas. And even if you don't celebrate Christmas, you can find good in Christmas. But how much good outweighs your bad? What can you forgive? Do you just focus on doing good by yourself? Or do you hold others to that standard? Can we? Is it even possible to hold any other individual to our own personal standards of good and bad, right or wrong? Because we don't have commonality. All we have is ourselves. So can you say to yourself, while writing this philosophical list, as it were, we should all write our lists to John Cena, and he'll tell us. Because if you do actually try to model yourself on anybody, is Cena the worst? Who's someone that do you model yourself on anybody? Do you have a singular person that you lean to? Mother, father, is it religious? Is it, I was raised as a Catholic. I can look to Jesus and go, he's pretty sound. He's a decent lad. There's aspects to him, that singular icon, that you can draw. There's like an entire religion associated with the singular into goodness. But we don't all have the same sources that we try to take this goodness from. So I look to take it from the people directly in my life. My friends, my family, my colleagues, my community. I look for good. I don't try to do good. That's easy. Doing good is easy. I find it difficult to do bad. I find it difficult to lie. I find it difficult to be deceitful. I find it difficult to be dishonest. I find it difficult to cause harm, to cause hurt. And when I do, and if I do, it would crush me. I would feel agonising and have felt agonising pain to know that I have ever done any wrong by anybody. And can I wash that away by saying, well, I only tried to do good? When does trying to do good and achieving a standard of inherent goodness, is there a line? Is intent all we need? Because if you ask anybody, no one is the villain in their own story. By right, the source that I drew that line from is from a series called Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, by which the writer and performer, the main star of that show, is an amazing icon. I have found maybe minor or major aspects to this person that I could go, I will disavow of you because of a singular moment or opinion without any nuance or care. I find it fascinating. I consider myself progressive, left-leaning, loving. And I can still see the benefits and the careful consideration of people who would not be directly aligned with my own personal beliefs. But I love seeing people trying to do good, where intention and ideology meet. Then aren't we all doing the same thing? So really, is it about intellectualism or is it about practical pragmatism? I think we're all trying to do the same thing. Live a good life. Be a good person. Raise our families. Be connected to our communities. Have fun. Love. Laugh. Exterminate. I wouldn't think that you could make a fair argument for a Hitler. And yet, he thought he was doing good. That's your line. When reality is outside of you and you do not connect yourself to that reality, can we all agree Hitler's the line? And we can work backwards from that. Don't run to Hitler. He's just a really easy, obvious. Well, don't do that or be like that. But who's the other? Who's the better? Who is the anti-Hitler? The closest and easiest analogy I can find is that in Santa Claus. Someone who is born of all different sects and religions and social development and zeitgeist connected psychic will to put this icon on the planet in so many different forms by different names and different methods of his goodness. And we all go, yeah, the only way you can be good is if you're fictional. Because real people are bastards. I don't believe that. There's a lot of evidence to the contrary. If you look at reality. There's the other side. There are good works. There are good people who don't agree with you. I think the willingness to do good by another person should be where we start. It is the season of giving. What do you give? And what can you give if not money? If you can't give your time, give your understanding. Give people a moment. Give them a half second of thought. And consider, are they trying to do good? And if they're trying to do good, help them. Share with them. We can educate each other. Your enemy will teach you better than your ally. Not in victory and not in defeat, but in peace. I offer the gift of peace to myself. Because there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. A lot of noises, and a lot of thoughts, and a lot of negative feelings that I could easily buy into because they're really, really convincing. But can you honestly tell me that in the eyes of another human being, you do not have the opportunity for kinship, for connection, for unity, for peace, for care? I care about every single person on this planet and what I could and would and should give, that I've decided to take all that energy and give it to myself by sending this signal to the world that we can have it all. Personal and communal growth. We can have greater societies than could ever be imagined only if we find peace in those we would seek to fight and have war against. There are great times ahead. A new year leading to so many endless possibilities. And you are an untapped resource of endless positivity. just by the sheer fact that you hold breath in your lungs and a twinkle in your eye. You can be better than John Cena. You can be better than Santa Claus. Because you can be yourself. And you can be in this world and be an agent that provides the opportunity for peace in the hearts and minds of your community. It starts small. And it starts now. You can do it. I believe in you. And I love you. And I'll talk to you real soon.